Hey there, welcome to MurderTube. Quickly, I just want to apologize to anyone that noticed there were no videos last week. I had a cold for about a week and I couldn't do any recording, so I'm just trying to get caught up now. Anyway, let's get into today's video, which has a very weird and strange excuse. It's probably an excuse that most of you aren't expecting or maybe never heard before. And if you're thinking a weird and strange thing happening, it probably happened in Florida, you would be right. It, of course, happened in Florida. More specifically, this happened in Parker, Florida. Our victim in this case is a 16-year-old boy by the name of Jacob Hendershot. Jacob was actually given up for adoption when he was young, so he was raised by his grandparents. He was a fine Christian boy, he had a good heart and was very loving. By all accounts, he was a good kid. And unfortunately, he would spend some time in Parker, Florida, where he died. So Jacob had recently reconnected with his biological mother, and he was excited to spend some time with her during the summer, and this is what actually brought him to Parker. As a friendly kid, it didn't take him long to make some local friends, and on July 2011, he was spending some time at a couple of these friends' house. He told his mum that he would be home by midnight, and Jacob never returned. When Jacob didn't return home that night, his mother of course reported him missing and an investigation was opened. At first, the police thought that maybe Jacob was a runaway, that this was a kid from out of state spending some time with an estranged mother that he didn't really know. Maybe an argument happened, or he used this excuse as a means to escape, and he either ran away to a different state or he returned home. The police searched for him and of course they could not find him. The mother had told the police that on the night of his disappearance he was spending some time with two friends, William Chase and Joel Millsap. So of course the police spoke to these two guys and these two said that he was spending some time with them, and sometime during the night he left William's house and they didn't see him again. The investigation continued for some time with very little action until 1 month after the date that he went missing. That is when his naked dead body was found inside a concrete drain in a field just across the road from his mother's house. A medical examination was done on Jacob's body and it was determined that he had been beaten, choked, and his throat had been slit. Along with the help of some Facebook posts from some local people about what they could have possibly done, the police began to piece together the story. Jacob had another friend in that town by the name of Stephanie Pisty. Him and Stephanie were friends for a short time, and then something happened that ended that friendship. There was rumors and gossip that Jacob had sexually assaulted Stephanie, and Stephanie just so happened to be engaged to William Chase, who was hanging out with Jacob the very night that he died. So it was believed that Stephanie had told William about this sexual assault. William and some of his friends ambushed Jacob, beat him, and killed him. But you might be thinking at this point that so far this doesn't really sound that strange or weird, right? Well, that's because the rape story was actually false, and the reason for his death was vampires. Yeah. So Jacob and Stephanie were friends for some time, and some reports say that they possibly had a brief secret relationship. Some don't mention it, so whether that was true or not, I can't really say for sure. However, if it is true, it is possible that Stephanie went with the sexual assault story, as she was engaged to William at the time, and she used that as kind of an excuse to hide the fact that she cheated on him. But anyway, whether they were in a secret relationship or whether it was just friends, that did come to an end one day when Stephanie told Jacob that she was a vampire and that she liked to drink blood. Now remember, Jacob is a good Christian boy. Christians usually don't like anything kind of satanic like that, so he wanted nothing to do with her. He even told his mum just a few days before he died that he wanted nothing more to do with Stephanie because she was crazy. And Stephanie did not like this at all. She was pretty mad that Jacob started to look down on her for being a vampire. So what really happened was, on the night of his murder, Jacob was hanging out with his two friends at William's house. William's house was not too far from his mother's house, and at some time during the night, Jacob actually went back to his mother's house to grab some alcohol before returning to his friend's house to hang out and party with them. Except when he returned to the house, there were more people there. As soon as he arrived in that house, he was ambushed. A man by the name of James Gay punched Jacob in the head several times with a chain wrapped around his fist. James then actually left the location while the others continued the attack. The two people that Jacob thought was his friends, William and Joel, choked him and slit his throat. All 5 people that were involved in this were part of a vampire cult, and Stephanie was the ringleader. Stephanie no longer liked Jacob, but on top of that, she also wanted to drink his blood. Stephanie often drank the blood of her fiancé, William. William Chase and Joel Millsap both pled no contest to murder charges, and both of them were sentenced to 25 years in prison. James Gay was convicted of accessory to murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Tammy Morris pled no contest to accessory, and she received 3 years of probation. And the vampire ringleader, Stephanie, pled no contest to accessory and was sentenced to 12 years in jail. After he was killed, they ditched his naked body into the drainage ditch, got rid of his clothes, and cleaned the house. Stephanie claims that she never actually drank any of Jacob's blood. However, she claims a lot of things, and she's not the most trustworthy, honest person. So whether she did or not, we're really not sure at this point. A Facebook post Stephanie posted said, "Yeah, we're married and he's going to die. He's the one that killed Jacob Hendershot. While I let him, I wanted the blood." Stephanie claims that her account was hacked. Since the trial and convictions, she has since said, "Jacob didn't deserve to die. I didn't even know he was going to die, but I honestly knew that they were going to beat him up. And in my opinion, he deserved to get the shit beat out of him. He didn't deserve to die." She has also said, "Since I was like 12, every fiber in my body, basically everything, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I believe that I'm a vampire and part werewolf." Now, I'm no expert on this mythology, satanic, vampire, werewolf type stuff, other than, seeing it in some video games, movies, books. I didn't personally think that a vampire could also be a werewolf or vice versa, but according to Stephanie, she is a vampire and also a part werewolf. But really, it's just such a pointless loss of life. A 16-year-old boy was murdered because someone didn't like that he wanted nothing to do with their vampire lifestyle. So because she didn't like him, she has her cult friends murder him, and then she can also drink the fresh blood from his dying corpse. Out of all of the murders that get committed, I can honestly say that I never thought I would be talking about an actual real-life vampire werewolf murder. But let me know, do you think Stephanie actually drank any of Jacob's blood? Or do you believe her when she says she didn't actually go through with it? And as always, like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and let me know why in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe. And obviously it is a very crazy world out there, so stay safe.